Here we are, folks, with Arnold.
Yeah,
He's a master mechanic behind this marvelous piece of machinery, a
yeah,
1914 Packard. This is an
sabotages.
excellent representation of a brass era precision machine. This thing is just absolutely fabulous with the technology and the
The cam
precision work
timing
that
worked out.
you see on this vehicle. Here, it was experiencing some issues
Got air
with
pressure
starting.
pumps up the
Fuel pressure.
fuel pressure on the tank. You can see it on the gauge on there.
And how much pressure do you need? Oh, that's PSI, so about 3.5 pounds.
You know, this one it's got a leak in it somewhere. It'll run like on a pound, but it doesn't go up the hills that great.
So you will see here in this part where we're having issues with the starter sprag gear. This is an early vehicle for starter. I believe this is the first gear, and the gear is hanging up. You'll be able to see that here crawl underneath the car.
This thing is like it's loose.
It is.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's loose.
The whole housing, right?
Yeah, I have to pull the pan off. And really, for this thing, I'll probably just disconnect the generator. I don't need it.
Driving on battery power.
Yeah, but the bolts are inside the pan.
So it turns out the sprag gear was hanging up, so Arnold was able to remove it, inspect it, and determine what was going on. And actually, the generator housing, which is
You said
driven
just
by this
reset the
drive
cam
shaft right
timing?
here that he's removing, comes off the water pump, which is driven actually by the timing gear, passes through the generator, and then also provides a pivot point for the sprag gear at the back of that generator. So he was able to simply remove this shaft and get the vehicle to run effectively. However, there won't be a generator, but in this case, the generator is only used on this particular vehicle to charge the battery for the starter. The vehicle uses a magneto ignition system, so it produces its own energy by the magneto, so the vehicle is able to continue running and driving, which you see here. In just a moment here, you're going to see where Arnold has to pump air pressure into the fuel system to maintain fuel pressure. This was a common occurrence. All cars are pretty much like this back in the day. If you have a good ear, you'll notice as you start climbing the hill, the car starts misfiring a little bit. This is due to the fact that it's losing fuel pressure.
It's firing a little bit, huh? Or is that fuel pressure? Sounds like it dropped the cylinder, huh? Do it pump or?
I can enrich it in here, you know. But yeah, long poles, it's just not enough fuel pressure at 2 pounds.
So watch right here where Arnold has to manipulate multiple levers and pedals at the same time. This requires a lot of dexterity, coordination, skill to do this. It's pretty complicated. Um, Most folks today driving a fully automatic car would have difficulty driving a vehicle such as this one. Not easy. So here we are. We made it back from the test drive. Here Arnold just going to check up underneath the hood, and he's going to tighten some of the airline fittings and look and find out why it's losing the fuel pressure. This is a very simplex but also complex machine. Again, under the hood, it's just pretty amazing when you look at the detail and the craftsmanship and the innovation that such motor of this era would have had, such as the spark plugs right here. You could disconnect each one differently with a little blade type contactor. Has a little sight glass down here for the oil pressure or for the oil level. A magneto for the ignition system. Very interesting type of style of a fan belt, helps put together in segments. You got the lifters, which are externally exposed. Huge fan. Pretty interesting design. Again, very fabulous machine, very well detailed. Takes a lot of experience and expertise to know how to not only operate, but also to maintain and work on one of these. It's not a simple task. Some additional interesting facts about this vehicle was in 1914, the cost of this vehicle was around $6,500. So this is a high-end vehicle for the wealthy at the time, where the average person made about $1,000 a year. At $6,500, this was definitely an elitist vehicle. It boasted some 37-inch wheels, 17-inch drum brakes in the rear. This was the first early production vehicles that had the starter generator combination, which made it some of the very first vehicles with electric start. Again, fabulous machine. A lot of different technology on it. Huge vehicle, massive 144-inch wheelbase. Again, one of the fabulous vehicles, and an honor to be able to shadow Arnold and see and learn about this vehicle in person.